Hey, what is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, Serendipity. Today I'm going to be reacting to American things Europeans can't understand. I mean, honestly, Americans can't understand why Americans do certain things. I mean, we don't understand ourselves. So, I mean, we can't understand ourselves. Some things we just do because we just do. We were told to do it. We grew up doing it, so we do it. I feel like I've already reacted to something similar to this, so I wonder if it's going to repeat the same things. But I don't know. So let's get into this.
While the culture of the United States is exported all over the world in films and on TV, it also abides by some laws and practices that many consider unusual. Europeans in particular seem to have a hard time wrapping their heads around some of them. From child beauty pageants to gun laws, let's take a look at some American things that Europeans can't understand. Sick of commercials. If you're a European enjoying a cozy night in on the couch in America, some of the stuff on TV may shock and surprise you. And no, I'm not talking about Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm talking about commercials, which arrive so frequently it makes watching TV feel almost unbearable to anyone unaccustomed to it.
Seals leaks instantly. Use it on
Especially pharmaceutical commercials, which usually show grumpy men and women turned into smiling, happy people by the product being sold. These are usually followed by an almost comically long list of potential side effects spoken at double speed, like Ambien ad.
See, this is one of the things that we don't even understand why they have these, but they do. And like, we make it fun of them just as much as probably anybody else would. Yeah. And commercials, they're usually not that bad with shows. You can kind of get through them. But if you ever try to watch a movie that's not on, I guess, like, now that it's all just pretty much streaming stuff now, so I can gladly say it's been a while since I've had to deal with commercials. But if you watch any movies that, like, well, you can't even watch a movie that's gonna have commercials in it, because an hour movie can easily last about like 3 to 4 hours with how many commercials they'll put on. So you literally have to record the movie and then watch it later, because that's what I've always had to do. Unless it's like on Stars or like, man, I've forgotten which ones now. Used to not do commercials, or some of them did no commercials at certain times or something like that. But yeah, they can be
as well as abnormal behaviors such as being more outgoing or aggressive than normal. Confusion, agitation, and hallucinations may occur. Don't take it with alcohol, as it may increase these behaviors. Allergic reactions such as shortness of breath, swelling of your tongue or throat may occur, and in rare cases may be fatal. Side effects may include
then it's like, damn, I don't even want to take that medicine anymore.
Drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. In patients with depression, worsening of depression, including risk of suicide, may occur.
These types of direct-to-consumer commercials peddle prescription drugs, which is an advertising standard that was rejected by the European Commission back in 2002. The Commission stated that pharmaceutical companies were unable to provide impartial information on their medicines. If that's the case, why is it practiced in America? To put it simply, there's simply never been a federal law passed to outlaw the practice. This is in no small part thanks to the fact that direct-to-consumer drugs and their accompanying ads are a huge business. And in America, whether it's right or wrong, the rules tend to follow the money. Europeans might actually need a pill for the headache all those ads give them. May cause drowsiness, loss of limbs, telepathic powers, and a violent hatred of cheese.
Literally, that's just usually when you have to go to the bathroom, or you go anywhere else, or you can, how like DirecTV used to be, you used to can pick like 5 channels that you want to watch, and then you can have them as like your recents, and then so when one hit goes a commercial, you watch the next, and that goes a commercial, you watch the next, and then you go back, and you pretty much can be left off where you're at, so you can pretty much watch 5 different things at one time.
No place like home. Let's say you're a European who's just moved over to America. You found a house in a nice residential neighborhood, and you're going through your bills. Rent, water, gas, electric, all seems in order. But wait a second. What's a homeowners association fee? To a native, that's a pretty obvious question. But for Europeans, it's an unwelcome surprise. These fees contributes to the local homeowners association, which is somewhat like a neighborhood watch, but managing funds to be reinvested into the community. It goes towards things like residential maintenance and common spaces, which keeps residents happy and property values up. With around 24% of all Americans living under a homeowners association, they pay $200 to $300 on average per month in fees to these entities. Now, while some European...
I mean, I don't know too much about that. About 200, because I don't know, I don't feel like my brother pays that much in HOA, not $200, $300.
Might struggle with this concept. It was a form of governance that was actually invented by France back in 1804. The condominium law was exported to the US, where it became incredibly popular. So, for any European that wants to complain about homeowner regulations and fees, feel free to blame the French.
Honestly, like, it makes sense so that nobody could, have your property value, lowered. If everybody has a neat, property, yours won't go lower. I make it, but I don't know. I don't like people telling me what I can or can't do on my property.
Vacant vacation days. The USA has one of the largest economies in the world. A tremendous economy, in the president's words. But Europeans looking to get into the American world of work are often shocked when it comes to vacation time. US workers are not entitled to mandatory paid vacation at all. Usually, the issue of paid leave is left at the discretion of employers, and yes, that does include national holidays. According to research from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2017, only 77% of American workers had access to paid vacation. Now, the reason that might leave Europeans slack-jawed is because mandatory paid vacation time in Europe starts at 4 weeks. In fact, America is one of the only Western countries where law doesn't enforce companies to give its employees mandatory paid vacation time. Don't believe me? Take a look at this map breaking down mandatory paid vacation time by country. Only the great countries are known not to give paid time off. It's a working culture that undoubtedly favors employers over employees. Americans might want...
Honestly, that's starting to change a little bit. Well, I think a lot, because I'm starting to see like a bunch of places now being able to do it. And now they have it as well as full-time workers gets it, but not part-time workers. And then, this is where they get you. They have you, so like you're a full-time worker if you work 40 hours or more, I guess, a week. Some companies, is how they get you, is they make you work like 35 or 38 hours just so that you don't make full-time, you can't be full-time because you don't make 40 hours, so you're just stuck. I've seen that happen quite a lot.
Think about learning Chinese instead, as employers in China must legally offer 5 days of holiday, although that is after...
Or I hate when like you're off on a holiday, but then you don't get paid for that holiday. That's what bugs me the most. It's like, because I would work. If the place was open, I would work. I would be there. But, yeah. I'm thankful I'm not in that situation no more. I get paid holidays and vacation, but yeah.
Tenuous year of work. Win some, lose some, I guess. Florida man. If the American states could be looked at as a dysfunctional family, then Florida would be the weird uncle who once ran away with the circus and wrestled a tiger. The Sunshine State is the third most popular...
I mean, I feel like Florida's the way Florida is because how many people go to Florida. I mean, Florida just has every different type of person you could think of is in Florida. So I'm like, of course things are going to happen in Florida. It's a crazy thing.
The state in the USA and receives over 100 million visitors year on year. With so many people living between Miami Beach, Disneyland, and Pensacola, a little crazy is bound to be found.
I mean, there's people that live in the Panhandle that has never been to Disney. Like, it takes, like, from Pensacola to Orlando is like I don't know, probably, I would have to guess, an 8-hour drive or something like that, I would think. So yeah, most people aren't gonna go all the way to Disney World for that. I believe, because it takes us, it would take, I never drove it, but it would take us 15 hours of non-stop, not stopping, not one time, to get to Miami, I think it's Miami. So I would guess it would take them 8 to 10 hours. If you're in Pensacola, it would take you 8 to 10 hours to get you to Orlando. I think that's how, yeah.
The fringes of society. But what Europeans aren't prepared for are the crazy antics of Floridians that make daily headlines. From Florida man believed that he was half man, half dog in March 2019.
If you ever see a crazy headline, it's probably gonna start with Florida man, always.
To Florida man robs bank, strips naked, then runs down the street throwing stolen money everywhere in July 2017. You can search the internet for almost any day of the year and find a headline announcing Florida man has committed an utterly baffling crime. There doesn't seem to be an equivalent for any European countries, although the UK comes close with some of its questionable journalism topics like
Britain's fattest woman ate fridge and died.
Let me know the funniest local headlines you've ever seen at stories@bmas.com. VAT trouble. In Europe, like most of the world, tax is built into the price of items in-store and online. So what you see on the tag is what you pay. But Europeans visiting an American store might be left doing a double take at their bill when they reach the register. There is no national sales tax or value-added tax in America. Instead, American taxes differ by jurisdiction, of which there are around 7,000. Differences in these local rates, state taxes, or combined state and local taxes means
The only reason I can think that it's like that is because just like each city is different in how much they tax. So like if somebody's shipping, but I mean I guess the people that are working there could do it. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know why they don't do it. It's aggravating. I just always add to the dollar. I just add an extra, like if it's $2.35, I just say it's $3. If it's $2.80, I just say it's $4. Yeah, that's just how I do it.
final prices for the same item can differ from one street to the next. For first-time shoppers in the US, this unpleasant surprise is a rite of passage that no one asked for. Tipping point. A meal at a restaurant can be a real treat, but Europeans visiting America sometimes stress about.
You know what I wonder? How, when y'all buy like a car and they have the price, is it the same thing? Like that's what you're gonna buy that car for? If it's $20,000, that's what you're gonna buy that car for $20,000. I just bought a car and wow, did they add so much? They had every tax that you can put on, every fee. I'm like, Jesus.
The tip. Although tipping anywhere.
So yeah, anyway, I wonder when you buy a car, is that also the same thing where if it has priced $20,000, that's what you're gonna buy $20,000, or do they add fees later? Yeah.
Up to 20% seems normal to most Americans. There's no such obligation in Europe.
Which I guess they got to, because then that's when you run your credit and stuff like that and see. Yeah, I guess.
Indeed, it's mostly seen as a bonus reward for good service, and in some European countries, it's even considered rude and excessive.
See, this is another thing a lot of Americans don't agree with, is tipping either. I know everyone I know is just pay your workers more so we don't have to tax. But then, how it's supposed to be is we get our meals cheaper by us taxing them, but yeah. And a lot of people don't give 20%. A lot of people, and kind of how I go is pay for like the service. If she's like absolutely like rude or he's absolutely rude, you're probably not going to get that much money from me
To leave a tip. The American federal government, however, states that tips can be used to satisfy the difference between.
But I forgot where they was. I just seen it. I don't know. I think it was somewhere up north. It was, I think, somewhere up north, where the waitress and the waiters that are there are absolutely like rude, but that's the point of the restaurant, is just have a waitress just like be absolutely rude to you and pick on you and just be horrible to you. Yeah, I don't know if I would want to go to that though. I don't.
The
want to pay
employee's
somebody to
hourly
be rude
wage
to
and
me.
the standard minimum wage. This means food servers, valets, and in-house staff in certain states can be working for a federal wage of just $2.13 per hour, which is about €1.96.
Also, I just found out that minimum wage really hasn't moved that much in like 10 years. And at like 2006, 2007, 2008, it like in just a year it grew like $1. And then it's pretty much been the same since like 2009, 2010, so over a decade. That's what's crazy.
So if you're a European visitor to the States, get ready to factor in your tip to the overall price of your meal. You might well be contributing to a struggling waiter's rent.
Yeah.
Child beauty pageants. If you've ever been unfortunate enough to have watched an episode of Toddlers and Tiaras on TLC, I think you might side with the Europeans on the next matter. Child beauty pageants are common across America and usually consist of dolled-up little girls being thrust onto a stage to entertain a crowd of screaming moms.
See, this is another thing. I mean, obviously there's people that like it because they wouldn't have had it, they wouldn't be attending it. But most people don't like this either.
It's truly bizarre. But what's equally strange is how the craze got started. Child pageants originated from American Better Baby contests in the early 20th century. Babies would be scored on characteristics like weight, quality of skin, and face shape, supposedly in the name of helping to educate mothers on best practices for healthy babies. But of course, it wasn't just for education purposes. There were also cash rewards and trophies for top-ranking toddlers. This has slowly devolved into the bedazzled tradition of pushing a child on stage in full makeup and styled hair to do a dance routine for prize money. Although some European countries host similar but smaller events, others like France have gone as far as to ban all such pageants, claiming they're an unhealthy way to treat young girls. If you ask me, their general creepiness alone should be enough to slam the brakes on child beauty pageants. Honey boo boo? No thanks. Size is everything. According to an old saying, everything's bigger in Texas. But if you're a European, you'll probably think that about all of America, right down to its people. It's no secret that America has a little bit of a weight problem. 2/3 of American adults classify as overweight, and it's estimated that almost 40% of adults in the US aged 20 and over are obese. Contrasted to Europe, where a survey carried out in 2014 labeled just 15% of adults obese. That's a king-size difference, with a side of fries. The American tendency to overeat might have something to do with portion sizes in the States.
I don't think it has really anything to do with portion sizes, to be honest. Like, most people can't even finish, like, if they go dining out to eat, most people can't finish those portion sizes, so they take it home. I don't think it has to deal with portion sizes. I think it has to deal, and plus, like, how many times are you going to go out to eat? Like, you can't get fat off of you going to eat, because I doubt most people, I think anyway, don't go out to eat every single day. So I think it's dog sleeping. I think it has to do with I think it has to do with just like all the healthy food is so much more expensive than the unhealthy food. And that, I feel like, is the biggest difference, because most people aren't going to pay the extra $5 or so for the healthy stuff, the organic stuff. They're going to pay this cheaper stuff because they don't have that much money. That's the problem. I don't think portion size has to do with anything. It's what we can actually buy. Why is healthy food so much more expensive than unhealthy food? So that's the problem. I hate when people like portion size. How many times do you go out to eat?
In Paris and Philadelphia revealed food outlet portions were 25% larger in Philly. And a review of 17 different single-serve foods like yogurt and candy bars found that 14 of them were bigger in Philadelphia. While a one state to one country comparison doesn't necessarily represent the whole, Europeans on social media often comment on how much bigger everything seems stateside. Have you noticed this difference in portion sizes? Let me know in the comments below.
And that's another thing I just remembered. Every time I get a plate of food, anytime I go out to eat, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of food. Or how many times when me and another person go out to eat, we just share it because it's plenty for two. Yeah, we also don't understand why it's so big either.
Bonus points for food puns. Oh, sugar. Living in America can really give you a taste for the sweet life, but your teeth won't thank you for it. Why? Well, some American foods and drinks have been found to contain huge amounts of sugar compared to their European equivalents. Some common bread brands contain up to 6 grams of sugar per serving, 6 times the amount found in European counterparts. But it doesn't end there. Taking a look at Pizza Hut's sugar content reveals most of their stateside pizzas have close to double the amount of sugar per slice as European versions. And in Starbucks, a UK venti white chocolate mocha will contain 62.4 grams of sugar. But in America, that shoots up to 72 grams. I've heard of sweetening the deal, but any Europeans making the trip across the Atlantic might leave suffering from the toothache. Gaps in the market. European standards of building a public...
I've seen this in one of the other videos. Honestly, I've never really noticed the difference or thought about it until it's been pointed out to me about the gaps in the doors.
Restroom involve plenty of privacy, mainly in the form of cubicles with doors that are more door than gap. Seems obvious, but it's a standard that Americans just can't see.
I did go to one restroom where I was like, wow, could they make this any more open? They had like where you could so the wall started pretty much where you would sit down. I'm like, can this gap be any more higher? Or like you stood up and you like seen over everything. Yeah, that one was a bad one. But mostly, a lot of times the doors are pretty close. I mean, the walls are pretty close to the ground and the gaps are small. But really, nobody's looking, to be honest.
To adopt. With ridiculously large gaps at the top, bottom, and sides, it makes for a truly uncomfortable first visit to an American toilet for unwitting visitors. On their first time, Europeans are left feeling especially susceptible to unwelcome visitors and peeping Toms. Some people even resort to taping up the gap to prevent prying eyes looking in. But as strange as the design seems, there are some theories as to why Americans build their stalls this way. For a start, high floor gaps allow for easier cleaning, and they do make it simpler to pass toilet paper from one cubicle to another. On top of that, the vertical gaps act as a deterrent for anyone thinking of doing anything naughty behind closed doors. But there's always the chance you might accidentally get a real eyeful. Maybe just close your eyes before entering any American restrooms. Triggered. It strikes many Europeans as a bit odd that in America you can pick up your groceries from one aisle of a store and a gun from another. Indeed, you can buy guns over the counter in places like Walmart, and ammo can be found in pharmacies. But seeing as guns are still legal in many parts of Europe, what is it that Europeans find weird about the gun-loving, rifle-wielding, Second Amendment-touting American citizen? It might have something to do with America's gun-related death rate, seeing as per capita, there were 12 gun-related deaths for every 100,000 people in America in 2017. Very few European countries exceed 3 gun-related deaths per 100,000 people, and none even come close to America's 12 per 100,000. The causes of the problem are fiercely debated, but it might have something to do with how easy it is to buy a gun. Background checks are usually carried out, but a research survey from Harvard in 2015 estimated that a third of American gun owners have purchased a firearm without a background check. In Europe, many countries like Austria and Germany require would-be gun owners to go through a rigorous 7-step procedure before owning a gun. High-caliber handguns are outright banned in the UK, and many categories of semi-automatic weapons are illegal to own across Europe. It's simply much harder to legally purchase a gun in Europe than it is in the US, which I'm sure is a trigger point for some.
Yeah, pretty much most or even all of them we don't even understand. We don't know why we do these things, but we just do them. Or they're just there. It's not even that we do them, they're just there. Like the pharmacy stuff and the commercials and all that. Like, they just happen, so we just have to deal with them. We don't understand them, and we wish they didn't exist as well. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and like always, there's more to come, and I'll see you in the next one.